Okay, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry for starting right in the middle, well into the fucking beginning of my run. Yes, this is an obliteration run with engineer. I am using command, and I felt like I wanted to upload this, because 1, Risk of Rain, 2 is a pretty dope game. And 2, this was the first obliteration I had ever done. This is post-commentary. I wasn't sure I was going to make it, even toward the end. But anyway, I'm just gonna kind of go over my item choices, why I'm picking what I'm picking, why I'm picking them, maybe in the order that it seems like I'm picking them in. I'm not really gonna make this a particularly complicated video. I already, as you can see, I've got 1 ukulele. This is nice for... Okay, I don't know why I think I just got an equipment by chance, but there really isn't... I don't think I hit that... I don't think I timed that on purpose, but either way, having a royal capacitor is very nice, and I do want that item. So we'll just start there. So I just picked up a royal capacitor, and the reason why is because of all the equipment items. That is one that has some of the, it has one of the shortest cooldowns, which is 20 seconds. This is very nice because every 20 seconds you get to zap something with a lightning bolt. So very high damage output as well, not just for the short cooldown. It does, I believe, 3,000% damage, and anything that you hear me say in this video, if I'm quoting percentages or anything like that, or how items stack, I'm not even going to lie. Shout out to Wooly Gaming. I get most of, if not all, of my information from watching a lot of the guide videos he's done on his channel, so I'm going to take no credit for any of this information, and I'm going to go ahead and point you in his direction. He's got a lot of great videos on guides. This guy's like a master at this game, but I don't want to talk about him too much. Back to my own run here. So, royal capacitor, I believe it's 3,000% damage, which is very, very high. I believe the Prion is 4,000%, so it's only 1,000% less than the Prion. Yeah, I know, only 1,000%, right? Not a huge gap. But of all the items that do damage, that are equipment items, when it comes to high damage output, I think the Prion is the highest for like a burst of damage, and then the royal capacitor, I believe, would be second. The problem with the Prion is it has a cooldown of like 140 seconds or something ridiculous like that. So nobody's trying to wait 2 minutes to use their equipment again. That sucks. So I'd rather shoot something with a lightning bolt that does 3,000% damage every 20 seconds than do 4,000% damage every 2 minutes. Yeah, so anyway, it's actually a little more than 2 minutes, but you get the point. So back to my items. I'm already on stage 4 here, and if you look at my time, I'm at 20 minutes. Typically, you do want to spend about 4 to 5 minutes per stage, at least in the very early game. All I'm going to say about stages is once you hit stages 4 and 5, and I'm going to say this speaking from my own personal experience, you can comfortably, if you feel like you have a pretty good build and you're... Again, if you're reaching that stage in a pretty timely manner, you can comfortably farm stages 4 and 5 in their entirety. Stages 4 having really only 2 possible options, one being Sirens, or as the Sirens call, I just call it Sirens. The other one being the, I forget the name right now, it's like the Abyssal something or other. It's the fire lava level with a lot of those hermit crabs. That's the stage that has that guaranteed legendary chest if you want to save up enough money to farm that chest, which I think you should every time you go to that stage. But yeah, so we're at Sirens for the 4th stage here, so there's no legendary chest here, which is okay, but you can still farm this stage in its entirety if you've gotten there in a decent manner, time-wise. So we're at 21 minutes right now. What am I picking up? Another ukulele? Yeah, I'll get to that in a second, but just to kind of wrap up what I'm saying about stages and timing. Typically, if you watch any of Wooly's videos, he says this himself, that you typically don't want to spend longer than 4 to 5 minutes for the first 3 stages, and after that, I guess it really kind of depends on what your items are and how comfortable you feel being in stages 4 and 5. Like I said, in my experience, I feel comfortable farming both stages 4 and 5 in their entirety. And after that, it's really sort of up in the air, depending on how comfortable you feel. If I feel pretty good after stage 5, I will not farm later stages in their entirety, but I will probably grab like a few items per stage. Maybe 4, maybe 5 items. It depends. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Back to my items now. Since I am playing on command, if you're playing on command, it's pretty simple that, for the most part, if your run ends, it's your fault, right? Because you have the ability to pick all of your items, so if you fuck up, that's on you. So item choice is actually very important, since you're able to pick your items with the command artifact on. Now, I've got 2 ukuleles. What am I picking up here? I don't know. I don't remember every item that I chose when I chose it. Like I said, this is post-commentary, so I'm just kind of watching this again for the first time. Alright, energy drink, and... what was that? Alright, crit goggles. And, I think I accidentally picked up that... or no, that might not have been accident. I think I remember Wooly mentioning something like having 1 shield generator is kind of nice for some sort of a buffer reason. I don't remember right now off the top of my head, so I'm not going to try to explain it because I'll probably end up butchering it or just not knowing what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, so taking a real quick look at my items and kind of disregarding what's happening on screen, I've got 2 ukuleles. That's nice because ukuleles, if they do proc, the ukulele chains up to 6 enemies, just having 1, and then every additional ukulele, I believe, is an additional 3 enemies. So it starts with, I think it's 3. It might have been 2. I'm not remembering very well right now, but let's just say it's 3. I could be wrong. So it starts with 6, and then at 2 ukuleles, it chains up to 9 enemies. At 3 ukuleles, it'd be up to 15. I feel like, me personally, in my experience, I never need more than 3 ukuleles. 2 is you kind of want to, because having that proc up to 9 is nice, but I would say 3 is like a pretty good stopping point if you're for stacking ukuleles. I wouldn't say you would need more than 3 ukuleles. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you're playing this game and you have no idea how item synergies work or how the items themselves work, definitely go ahead and go online, do a little bit of digging. Like I said, check out Wooly Gaming's videos. He has a YouTube channel. He's also on Twitch as well, but not exactly here to promote his channel like that. But yeah, he does have a lot of helpful videos, so definitely check them out. He can explain item synergies and things like that, proccing, all that stuff in a lot better detail. I'm not going to try to do that in this video. I'm just going to kind of give like brief explanations. So, 2 ukuleles, you kind of need to. Having 1 just doesn't feel like it's enough. Having 3 is like the right amount. It feels pretty comfortable having 3, because once you're chaining stuff up to 15 enemies, and whatever other items you have that proc, you know, with the ukulele, having that happen up to 15 enemies is very nice. Alright, so, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about ukuleles. I have 3 goat hooves. The reason why I have goat hooves, I usually don't go for goat hooves. It depends on who I'm playing. But right now I'm playing the engineer. The reason why I have goat hooves is because his mobile turrets, which are the ones that I'm using right now in this run, they don't benefit from energy drinks at all because the mobile turrets don't sprint. So it made more sense for me to get goat hooves and stack them for, not for myself really, more for the turrets. That's really, I got those for the turrets. I really couldn't care less about myself having the goat hooves. I could just get an energy drink or 2 if I want to, you know, be a little more mobile. So that's why I've got 3 goat hooves. I don't get goat hooves that often in my runs usually, so I don't really know how they stack and what's efficient and what's not when there's too many or a useless amount of goat hooves. I mean, eventually, obviously your movement speed is going to keep on stacking, so at some point it might be maybe hard for you to control, but I've only got 3 here. Wax quails are the next item that you can see. I've got 2 wax quails. And I always go for 2. I don't really get more than 2 wax quails if I'm playing on command because I don't feel like I need more than 2. It's 10 meters of propulsion, forward momentum. It's an additional 10 meters, I believe, every stack. So having 2 wax quails is 20 meters of forward momentum, which is nice. I don't ever feel like I need more than that. So, I mean, that's all I'm really going to have to say about that. But, actually, one more thing. I like getting wax quails in the early game of the run because you want to be mobile. I mean, there's just really no other way to say it. The base movement speed, once enemies start kind of grouping up on you, especially ones that have projectiles, if you can't move out of the way, you're screwed. So I like getting 2 wax quails. For me, that's a comfortable number of wax quails. I don't feel like I need more than that ever. I just picked up a Titanic Neural. I think I chose that because I wanted not only myself to have good, an additional health bonus and, you know, slightly better regeneration, even though we're playing on Monsoon. Also for the turrets. Remembering that turrets get a copy of every item that you have, so kind of nice for them too, I suppose. And I saw the little disciples there, which to me is like my favorite boss item so far. I don't have all of them unlocked, but I didn't choose that probably because I didn't even realize that I could. I don't think at this point when I was playing the game I even knew what that item was. I think I figured out later what it was, and then I typically kind of go for that. But occasionally I do go for the Titanic Neural because sometimes that additional health and that additional regeneration is kind of nice. It all depends on how you feel. So, after my 2 wax quails, you can see I've got 2 ice bands. I don't really know how stacking bands works. I don't know if there's a real benefit to stacking a lot of them or if after a while it's just kind of pointless to do it. But I would always say at least get 1 of each band. I got 2 here of both. You can see the Renault band is the ice band and the Chiaro band is the fire band. I've got 2 of them. They're right next to each other. Then after that I've got a guillotine. Always have a guillotine. At least 1. If you can just eliminate elite enemies at 20% health, that is extremely helpful. I like to get 2. 2 is kind of nice. I feel like you kind of want to when it comes to stacking guillotines. Again, just speaking from my own experience, I really feel comfortable with 3 guillotines, so I typically like to get 3. I don't usually get more than 3 guillotines. That's good enough for me. I feel fine with that. Sticky bombs, I have 2 right now. That's not really for any particular reason. They have a 5% chance to proc on hit, and I think that's an additional 5% per stack, so if you want a 100% chance for sticky bombs, you would get 20. Because I believe they're linear. They're not parabolic in their stacking. I don't really get sticky bombs or very large stacks of sticky bombs in my runs if I'm playing command, because there are just so many other items I would rather choose over stacking a sticky bomb. At least that's just how I feel. So after that you can see I have a Tesla coil. Tesla coil is fun. It's nice because every 10 seconds you're, shooting out electricity in a radius around you, and I believe the Tesla coil has a chance to proc other things. I could be wrong about that, I'm not 100% sure. After that, we got crit goggles, or lens makers glasses. I call them crit goggles, or crit glasses. I've got 4. That's pretty simple. It's just like the sticky bomb, where it's a pretty linear stack. Each one gives you 10% additional crit chance, so it maxes out at 10. Having more than 10 is pointless. Same thing with having more than 20 sticky bombs, it's pointless. So I've got 4, which actually feels kind of nice, but because I'm playing Engineer, I wasn't trying to go for a full stack of 10 crit glasses because there were other things that I kind of wanted. You can see I'm picking up some armor-piercing rounds right now. We're on stage 5. I'm at 31 minutes, just to kind of briefly take a look at that real quick. Got some glacial brass contraptions, or bells, as some people like to call them, because they kind of make a bell noise sometimes. Anyway. Yeah, look at how quickly I just demolished them. And, I mean, I know some people that play this game too, and they particularly hate the fucking brass contraptions because they can spawn, you know, kind of out of your field of view, behind you and whatnot, and then you could just get screwed. But, I don't particularly hate the brass contraptions. I try to keep my head on a swivel, so I try to do my best to pay attention. If I see one, I look for more than one. But anyway, yeah. So, crit goggles, those are nice. 10 gives you a 100% crit chance, which is great. That will double your base damage. I don't always get 10, but if I'm playing with the command artifact on, I usually try to stack 10. Again, it depends on what character I'm playing as. On the Engineer, didn't really care about critting as much as I did about other things. So next to that, you can see I've got 2 topaz brooches. Topaz brooches are very nice. If you're not familiar with that item, it's the one that gives you a little extra barrier above your health. It's that little yellow barrier you can kind of see popping up there, and it slowly fades, but you get the barrier on kill. So once you get to a certain point in your run where you're kind of just demolishing everything, having a few of those stacked is kind of nice. I have 2 right now, and I might want more. I don't remember if I ended up picking up more or not in this run. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, I'm not sure, but, what am I going for here? Oh, see, I just picked up another one. So, topaz brooches. Talk about that real quick. I like that item a lot. It starts to shine more when you've reached a point where you have enough items that allow you to quickly kill enemies. Because the quicker you kill enemies, the quicker you can build up that barrier, because it only goes up on kill. So, okay, I just picked up another goat hoof. Yeah, I felt like I probably wanted to give my turrets a little more, you know, walking mobility. Because they are slower than you, base speed. You can outwalk them, I think. But most of the time, you're probably going to be sprinting around, so you're definitely going to outrun them, and they're going to be following very far behind. They're going to be lagging behind you. I don't know why I just did that. Oh yeah, that was the environment log, that's why. Okay, yeah. I'm still at a point where I'm trying to unlock everything in this game, and I haven't yet. But anyway, back to the goat hooves. I just picked up another one real quick, so that's just really more for the benefit of my turrets than me, like I said before. Back to the brooches. You can see I've got 3 now. I don't know why I opened that, because I don't need anything other than the royal capacitor at this point. Like right now, a Prion is like totally pointless. A Prion accumulator is great in the early stages of the game, but I feel like once you hit stages 4 and 5 and you've looted enough items and you start to feel like a little more, your damage output's like gotten a little bit better between those 2 stages because of the items that you're getting, you don't really want that anymore, because like I said, that cooldown is fucking egregious. So I switched to the royal capacitor. If I get a Prion first, I will switch to a royal capacitor later. So yeah, the brooches are nice. I would say 3 is a comfortable stack. 3, you kind of want 3. Having less than 3, it doesn't feel like it's really working as much as you would want it to. If I remember correctly, I think the topaz brooches give you a 15 health barrier on kill per stack. So 1 is 15, 2 is 30, and so on. 3 would be 45. So getting 45 barrier on kill is kind of nice, but if you want to make sure you're really comfortable, sometimes I like to get 4. So that's all I'm going to say about the topaz brooches. Now, looking at the armor-piercing rounds, I want to remind you that this was the first run that I ever actually obliterated on. So for this run, I knew I was going to have to melt bosses as fast as possible. And the best way to do that is to pair a good stack of armor-piercing rounds with all of the other shit that you have. Do I need 7 armor-piercing rounds? Probably not, to be honest with you. Now that I've played a few more runs, I've actually obliterated a couple of the other characters as well after this video was made. And I kind of found out that you don't need 7 armor-piercing rounds. That is probably overkill. So I would recommend what feels comfortable to me if you're trying to melt bosses really fast is like, I'd say 3 is a pretty comfortable stack. Maybe 4 if you really feel like you're having trouble getting bosses to die. But I wouldn't really say more than 4. I don't think you need more than 4. 4 is a pretty comfortable one. 3, you want 3, but 4 is for comfort. 3 is like a need. I have 7 here. For what reason? I think I was just very fearful about not being able to kill bosses quickly enough so that I could reach Obliteration in the next 3 stages. So I probably just stacked on like way more than I probably needed, only because I was just feeling like unsure. At this point in my playing of this game, I didn't really have all of the item knowledge that I have now, and all of the knowledge of the item synergies that I have now, and how stacking them works. And I don't even know how this stacking for armor piercing works. I don't know if it's linear, I don't know if it's parabolic, where eventually it like kind of, there's like a fall off and it plateaus. I don't know, but just literally from the experience of just me playing, 3 is nice, 4 is comfortable, and I really don't feel like you would need more than that. After that, you can see I've got a Predatory Instincts. Sometimes I just call it the headdress because it literally is a headdress. This item is nice, and a really cool thing about this item is having more than 2 of them is pointless because they cap really early. So it gives you an additional it's like on, I can't remember, I think it's on crits you gain additional attack speed. Yeah, and it starts with an additional, it's either 24% or it's 12%. I'm not sure which one is the first stack. But all of that just to say, it caps at 36% additional attack speed. So having more than 2 of those is completely pointless, because once you have 3, you're not getting additional attack speed at that point. Like, the item tells you it literally has a cap. If you go into the item data and you just read it, or the item log, it'll just tell you that. So that one's a pretty simple one. Very nice to have, especially if you are, you know, building up some crit glasses. Pairs super well with that. And after that, you can see I've got 1 Hapu Feather. Now that I think about it, in me recently playing in a lot of the runs I've done, I tend to not get more than 1 Hapu Feather, only because I never feel like I need more than 1. But if I do get more than 1, I really only get like 2. And I want to make this very clear. To clarify, I'm specifically referring to if I'm going for an Obliteration run. If you're trying to go past Obliteration and you're trying to do, you know, like, you're just gonna see how far you can get if you're trying to do 20 stages or something like that. Yeah, I don't know, maybe at some point, maybe you want more than 2 Hapu Feathers, but I never feel like I need more than 2. The verticality of the Hapu Feathers is very useful, especially earlier in your run, rather than later. After a while, if you have enough items to, you know, demolish enemies and kill them pretty quickly, jumping higher in the air, it doesn't really feel like there's much of a point to that. I'll say this much, I feel like the Wax Quails are more useful than Hapu Feathers. That's just my opinion, that's how I feel about them. At least in the way that I play, and the way that I like to move around the map. Because like I said earlier, that forward momentum is extremely useful, especially when you're trying to avoid getting hit by enemies and whatever it is they might be throwing at you. Okay, randomly picking up a crowbar there. That probably was just for shits and giggles. So, we're on stage 6 now, and I'm at 41 minutes. It's really hard for me to say if that's good or bad, but I will say this, it seems like in this run, I'm actually doing pretty well here at stage 6. It looks like I'm pretty comfortable. Oh, and I probably skipped over that part, but I did pick up a meat hook. If you want to talk about what item synergies work really well with each other, one quick one is having a couple ukuleles and then having a meat hook, sentient meat hook. That works together really well because I think they can proc each other. I might be wrong about it, but like, I think so. So if the ukulele procs first, I think it has a chance to proc the meat hook. Or if the meat hook procs first, I think the meat hook has a chance to proc the ukulele. And then from there, they each have, you know, their chances at proccing whatever else on hit. Alright, so that's enough about that. Next in my items, you can see I have ATGs. See, here I am right there. I just picked up my second Predatory Instincts. I'm not going to need more than that second one. Anyway, so yeah, ATGs, I have 3 stacks of that right now. I know the first stack is 10% chance on hit, which is actually very nice. That's a very generous percentage in my opinion. And that's what makes the ATG like so very useful and very essential in your run is... I don't know if that stacks linearly. It might not. It might be a parabolic stack. But either way, having more ATGs never hurts. Because the more you can stack that item, I would say go for it. Sometimes I don't have more than 3. Sometimes I have 7. I mean, it really just... it depends. I would say have at least like 2 or 3. 2 or 3 is kind of nice. But don't feel bad about trying to stack more than 3 ATGs. I mean, stack as many as you want to, honestly. That's all I can really say about that, just with what I've experienced in my runs. Alright, what do we have next? Tri-tip daggers. I've got a stack of 4. Unless you're certain characters, like Multi, and I forgot who the other person was. But, typically, if you want a guaranteed bleed, I believe it's 7 stacks of tri-tip daggers will guarantee every hit that you... every hit will bleed. Again, for certain characters, it's not the same. I think I just picked up a squid polyp there for shits and giggles. I really didn't know what I wanted to pick up at this point, because I'm feeling pretty comfortable here in stage 6. Like, I have no problem killing everything. My turrets I'm letting them do majority of the work. I'm using my primary here and there just for some added damage because I've got the attack speed for me to feel like I can use it effectively. But yeah, tri-tip daggers. I've got 4. I'm not trying to go out of my way to stack tri-tip daggers necessarily. It's not like a priority item. I like having a few of them. But it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh man, like I need to get 7 of those as quickly as possible. I don't feel that way about them. They're very nice items. They're very useful items. The tri-tip daggers should not be overlooked, but it's just not like a priority item for me usually. I find myself getting other things before I get those, typically speaking, and then after that I have a pauldron. I don't tend to get more than 1 pauldron. I don't know how they stack. I never cared to like look into that or research. Or look at a chart or anything for how that item stacks. I don't know if it's linear. I feel like it's probably not. It's probably parabolic as well. I think most items are parabolic in their stacking. If you were to look at like a chart or a graph. 1 pauldron seems fine for me. It's nice to have. That's all I can really say about that. You know, you quickly kill 3 enemies. It increases your, movement speed, I think attack speed as well. Something like that. And then after that you can see I have a Will-O-the-Wisp. This item is definitely a must-have. And just to really quickly kind of touch on some of these green items. In the early parts of my run, if I'm playing Command, for a while there, what I liked to do, what was comfortable for me, was like just picking up at least like 1 of each item that I knew would be useful to me. So I would get like one ukulele, I'd get one wax quail. I would get 2 wax quails as fast as possible because you want to be able to move around the map and get to chests so that you can open them as fast as possible while you're, you know, killing enemies. So I get 2 wax quails pretty early on. I get 2 ukuleles pretty early on. I get 1 fire band, 1 ice band pretty early on. Like, those are a must-have. All the while I'm stacking probably crit goggles and armor piercing rounds, just to give you guys an overview of like what I try to get first, since we're getting towards the end of this run here. Yeah, I definitely go for those first. I really don't care about the Hapu Feather that much. I could get that mid-run, not something I care about getting early run. Sometimes I want to get it early run, it depends on the character I'm playing. But I'll just get the 1. And then Predatory Instincts, definitely get that as, you know, after I have some of the other stuff. I mean, I'm playing Command on this, so you can see the order in which I picked up these items. It goes from left to right, it's pretty simple. But, this isn't always the order that I go in. Definitely want to get ATGs earlier rather than later. Crowbars, oh man, that one's, I know we're not even there in the list yet, but crowbars are an important item sometimes. Well, not sometimes, a lot of the time. Again, sometimes it's more useful than not, depending on the character that you're playing. I think I tend to get like maybe, I guess 3 or 4 crowbars, and I don't know, I don't find myself getting large stacks of crowbars. Unless I'm going like super deep into a run, but again, like if we're just talking about getting to Obliteration, if that's something that you're having trouble with, you know, having a few of them doesn't hurt. It's kind of nice to have. I know I kind of skipped ahead on that one. But Will-O-The-Wisp. As a green item, that is a must-have. You want to have at least 1, because they give you a nice explosion when something dies, and that explosion, if enemies are kind of grouped together, it can proc really well with the ukulele, and more specifically with the meat hook, because the meat hook will pull enemies to each other, kind of grouping them. And so when the enemies are closer together and you have the Will-O-The-Wisp explosions going off, that's very nice. As well as the Radiant, whatever it's called, the something behemoth, the RPG, the rocket launcher, red item, because all your hits explode for 60% damage. That procs, not procs, it works, it pairs really well with like meat hook and things like that kind of bunch enemies up, or that have the potential of kind of pulling enemies together. What else? So yeah, Will-O-The-Wisp, I only have 1 right now. I don't know how that item stacks off the top of my head. I don't tend to get more than 2, usually in my run. And then after that, you see I have a Warhorn. Warhorn is nice because every time I activate that Royal Capacitor, I get additional attack speed. And I believe that separately from the Predatory Instincts, that all stacks on top of itself. So, you know, you've got 2 Predatory Instincts, I've got a Pauldron. You can see I've got 1 Soldier Syringe, but we're gonna get to that in a second. Soldier Syringes, Pauldrons, Predatory Instincts, and Warhorns. All of those give you additional attack speed, and that they stack really well with each other if you're trying to use, you know, let's say your primary skill as often as you can or as fast as you can. And although the engineer isn't typically, the engineer himself isn't the person that I would really care about getting the attack speed for, it is nice to have for him so he can throw out that volley of those kind of bouncing grenades. So yeah, the Warhorn, I don't get more than 1. I don't ever feel like I need more than 1. I don't know how it stacks or if it does or doesn't, but 1 seems fine. I never feel like I need more than 1 of those. And then next I've got energy drinks. You can see I've got 2 of those. I like 2. 2 is comfortable. I don't ever feel like I need more than 2 energy drinks. Once my sprints at 2 energy drinks, and then on top of that, in this particular run, I've got 4 goat hooves, I'm moving and grooving. So I don't feel like I need more than 2 energy drinks. I don't tend to get more than 2. 2 is pretty comfortable for me. 2 energy drinks, 2 wax quills, I'm set. 1 Hapu Feather, that's, as far as mobility goes, that's kind of nice and comfortable for me. We're on stage 7. As you can see, I'm still not really having any trouble. The monsters aren't catching up to me in terms of the damage they're doing and how well they're resisting my item loadout here. I'm killing stuff still pretty easily and pretty comfortably. And then what else we got here? Oh yeah, so I picked up that one shield generator. Again, I said what I said about that earlier, so I'm not even going to touch on that again. I get one. I never really get more than one. Or I never choose to get more than one. If I do get more than one, usually it might be by accident. I'll take another Will-O-the-Wisp here. Just because. At this point, I don't really know what else it is that I would want. You can also see I've got 2 monster teeth. I think I might have picked up one of those on purpose, and the second one might have been on accident. But either way, those are not terrible items. They're kind of nice to have. They're like, they're not high on the priority list of items I want to get sooner rather than later. Those are items that if I do pick them up, I might, like I said, I might get one initially just to have something that I can like heal myself with as I'm killing stuff. So I can just run around and pick up those orbs and just kind of gain some health back if something happens to hurt me. But for the most part, I'm not trying to stack monster teeth like that. I have 2 here that I can see, yeah, and I don't know. I'm not really caring to get more than that. I have 1 soldier syringe. With the engineer, I feel like I do want at least 1. I would have probably liked to have gotten 2. So having a second soldier syringe probably would have been more beneficial than having a second monster tooth necklace. But again, I might have grabbed that by accident. I don't remember exactly. I mean, if you're watching this video, you might be paying attention to what I'm picking up as I'm picking it up more than I am. Like just now, I just picked up another stack of armor-piercing rounds, so I have 8 now. Why do I need that? I don't know. But I think once I hit this stage, because this was the, you know, do or die stage, it's like I'm either gonna make it here or I'm gonna die, fuck up, and have to start all over again. But I think, like I said, I was feeling a little fearful, and I just wanted to make sure. Look at how fast I killed the Grove Tender. Like, I didn't even physically hit the Grove Tender. I think my turrets did that, and probably procced some other stuff. That thing died so quickly. I mean, that was absurd. And I know that's with 8 stacks of armor piercing, but like, really? I don't feel like I needed that. Like, I've done a few more Obliteration runs since this one, and I don't ever get more than like 4. I'll get like 3 or 4, like I said earlier. So anyway, that's that. I already talked about the meat hook. That's next to my item list. I mean, yeah, meat hook, nice to have. Real quick, touching on just the red items. So the red items I have a Tesla coil and a meat hook, and that's it. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, why didn't you pick up ceremonial daggers? Yeah, I don't think this run was before I really knew and realized just how important and useful and efficient having ceremonial daggers are. Ceremonial daggers should be your first red item that you choose if you're playing on command. They do so much work for you. I mean, it's just insane. And just a brief explanation of those daggers, every single time you kill something, it spawns a set of daggers that home in on other enemies, and I think they do an additional 150% additional damage, which, I mean, that's nice, what's not to like about that, but the fact that they're homing and the fact that every time something dies, it spawns a set of daggers. So as daggers kill other enemies, it spawns more daggers. As you kill enemies, it spawns more daggers, and eventually you've got a stage filled with a shit ton of daggers, and they're just killing I mean, they'll murder everything for you. So, yeah. We're here. We're at the end. I made it to Obliteration. I promise you I was not feeling that confident when I was actually playing this run. I know I sound calm now, but yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. Titanic Neural, said what I said about that. The crowbars are next to my list, said what I said about that. The squid polyp, that was there just for shits and giggles. I don't ever feel like I need a squid polyp, but you know what I will say? They are nice to have occasionally, because as you open items, it spawns a squid polyp, which is just a stationary turret, and it's just more damage. It's just another thing that you can add to the pool of damage that you're doing to enemies. Rusty lockbox key. I don't know why I picked that up. I might have picked it up by accident. It's not a useless item. Don't think that it is. Again, you probably have a better bet figuring out why that item is useful if you watch some of Wooly Gaming's videos. But yeah. After that, I've got the Genesis loop, which is the Wandering Vagrant boss jellyfish boss item. That's the one that when you reach 25% health or lower, you send off a supernova that does 6,000% damage. That is even more than a fucking Prion accumulator, so I am not even going to pretend to act like that item is not useful. It is very fucking useful. However, I still would probably rather pick up a little Disciple boss item, or I typically get the Titanic Neural. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm Obliterating. See you next time.